fine.
Is that good? Yeah.
I think that's fine. And you know what? We can crop it in editing.
Can we make it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I think so. We'll see. If not,
Okay.
we'll be crooked.
We'll be crooked. We'll be crooked. I put my keys.
Is that a real song or just something?
I just made that.
Oh my goodness.
Crooked. Okay.
All right. The crooked song.
Okay.
All right.
What was that thing? There was a crooked man. He walked
Yeah.
a crooked mile.
Oh.
He lived
Crooked House?
Crooked House.
I remember
and
Crooked
crossed
House.
the crooked style. Or like,
Oh.
I don't know. It's like whole, I don't remember that. Okay.
I do remember something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not it's like having some sort of memory that it's. Anyway, hi guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
We're back again.
Here we are. Again.
I'm Hayley.
I'm Liz.
And together we make Hayley and Liz.
Yes.
Expressive Stitch Collective cult.
You're not supposed to hear cult. It's subliminal.
Secret message.
Cult.
Cult. So we wanted to return today and talk about collage and tell you about different materials we use in our collage.
And we have something exciting to unveil.
Yeah, sure.
Haley's famous now.
I've always been famous.
She's always been famous. Now all the Canadians know about her as well. Although,
Yes.
and Americans.
So back in the spring, I applied to be a part of Uppercase Magazine. If you're not familiar with Uppercase Magazine, they're
You should be.
Yeah, they're really wonderful. Canadian publication. Liz is a longtime subscriber.
Yes.
And I have been coveting and looking through her magazines for quite a few years now. It's also a magazine that my auntie, Deanne Fitzpatrick, has been featured in multiple times. So I
Yeah.
always love seeing that. And it's a long paragraph, but they also are always looking for submissions. So if you're somebody who wants to share your art, it's a really good place to submit images, maybe a little article. They have all sorts of different calls throughout the year. So I
Yep.
really encourage people to do that because I think it's a really high, what's the word?
high
I'm looking for?
visibility, high quality.
High quality.
Very, I just really am amazed by the woman. I never know how to say her name. Janine Van Gool, I think.
That's how I would
Yeah,
say
that's how I say it.
But she is
It's like a one-woman
prolific.
show.
Yeah.
She has people that contribute, but
Yes.
she has
Mhm.
created this entire thing.
Do you know how long it's been around for?
Well, I believe I've been subscribing for, I want to say at least 10 years, if not longer, because it's before I moved here.
Yep.
I don't know how long it had been going
Mhm.
before that.
It's a long time
It's
for
a
a print
long
magazine.
time
these
for
days.
a print magazine.
Yeah.
And each one really is more of a book. You know, there's no
Mhm.
advertising. There's no...
It's 4 times a year. So.
Yeah. And it's beautiful because, and it's all art. It's not just textile.
Correct.
All arts. It's sometimes there's even like writing in there.
Yep. Different
And
kinds of expression,
The
I'd say.
paper is beautiful.
Mhm.
The graphic design
Mhm.
is beautiful.
Yes.
It's just
A wonderful variety of mediums in
Yeah.
there.
whatever you're into.
Yeah.
There's something there for
Everything
you.
from more like craft-based things to more finer.
Yeah.
And all of it is in one magazine. You know,
Yes.
like it's
Typography.
yeah.
I mean, anything. And what I like is even if I'm not reading something like that, I'm like super into where I do, you learn so much and you pick up other little things. And
For sure.
it's just, and it's a great design magazine. It's a great concept,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah,
base
covers
magazine.
a lot of bases
Mhm.
in a beautiful way.
Yes. And there's always a theme.
Yeah,
Each month there's a
feast
theme.
for the eyes.
For the call. And of course.
Yeah, so
So-
I applied to this thing back in the spring. It wasn't the magazine per se, but a series of books that
She does this
the
anthologies.
editor's doing. Yeah, and they
She
call
has-
them the Encyclopedia of
Yep.
Inspiration. And the theme that they were looking for submissions for happened to be glue. And since I'm a longtime collage artist, and that's where my work has been going, I was accepted. So I was really happy to be accepted, of course. And then she sent me a bunch of copies. So this is the book here. It might come out backwards from how you see it. You might see it backwards, but it's glue.
I'll hold it backwards.
All
No, I'm
the,
just kidding.
all the artists are on the back here. It's this nice,
I'm going to thumb to Hayley's.
nice thick book.
It is a chunkamunka.
Yes.
You get your money's worth.
Yeah. And there's 46 artists in here. So that's a lot of reading. And they're all
Hayley's on page 149, I believe.
Yep, 148, 149. And they're all different collage and assemblage artists. So there's all sorts of different things here. Oh, and
I'm trying to hold my
is gonna
thought of what I'm going to talk about. But this is Hayley's.
Yeah.
It goes on. I mean, you have what, like 5 or 6 pages?
Yeah, every artist has at least like 5 or 6 pages of art, and then also an article that each artist wrote answering a couple different questions about process, kind of your thoughts and ideas about collage, how long you've been doing it, that kind of thing. So these are all pictures I took of work, and they're in the magazine. So
you can just see how beautifully laid out they are. Yeah,
they're really, really gorgeous. Book.
Fabulous interview, a written piece. Did you write it and send it in, I assume?
Yeah.
It was beautifully written.
Oh, thank you. So, through reading this book, now that I have my copy and I'm being exposed to all these new collage artists, I'm learning a lot about other people's process. I'm also relating a lot to what other people say about collage. I'm like, yes, I feel that. And isn't it just great to always kind of like, I don't know, that kind of validation sometimes that you're not just making art in a bubble in a way. I mean, you're making it in a bubble, but you can kind of,
there are other people in the bubble with you
feeling the same feelings. Like that, it gives it, it's kind of like, it validates what you're doing in a way of like, yes, it's not all in my head. Like this is real. This satisfaction or this process or what I'm learning from it, other people are learning too. So I think that's been really nice, while I read through this book. Also just learning about people's, we were talking about glues.
We were literally sending each other pictures of the glue people use. You learn so much about people's process, about where people find things, about how they adhere things.
One thing that kept coming up for me, which is something that I hadn't thought about it in this way before, but as I read through people's writings about collage, is that they were talking about linking the past with the present. And I really liked that. It's not something I'd really thought of before, but like, a lot of people have these collections of things and they were really inspired by these bits of past and turning it into something new and transforming it into something new. I liked that a lot.
And I like too that a lot of people did kind of made me think of, well, because it is collage, of maybe somebody's a printmaker or a graphic artist or something, and they'll take all their rejects and they save them and they cut them up and then they collage and paint and then it's like Hayley was saying, a totally new thing.
Transforms.
But it's sort of a bit of their history, but also a bit of physical history.
It's like
and sometimes it's found objects.
Sometimes it's found
I kind of like it when it's like their some part of their personal history.
Which I think we can both relate to that in our collage and layering work. So we were just like, for giggles, let's go through and pick out like another person that we can really relate to, or that like whose work we're like, oh, that's like a new person I gotta follow on Instagram. So do you want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. And this literally was like, I've started reading from the beginning and I'm reading through. So I haven't like, until we sat down to do this, peeked ahead. So I just took the first person that kind of caught my eye a little. I thought he was a little bit different. He's actually an assemblage artist, which is collage, but it's a little more 3D. I liked his style. His name's Carter Ferguson from Cincinnati, Ohio. Have not even read his whole article.
That's okay.
Looked at him. He does, he has, almost reminds me of like dioramas.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
These to me almost read like pinball machines or something kind of active and much more three-dimensional than
they're
some
also very, there's something
historical,
kind of flag-like about them too. Which
I always
you gravitate towards that.
I do gravitate towards that. Yeah. This one reminds me of almost like it might be, I'm like losing.
Oh, that's
parts
okay.
of
It's just the dust jacket.
Memorial type.
Yeah, like an altar.
Yeah, an altar. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. I just really, I don't know. There was something kind of fun and hokey and down home, and it's just a little bit different than Yeah, you're right. They are very flag-like
Mhm.
or very
Also like neon sign, like advertising.
Yes, they remind me of. I have several books about old school hand-done typography and signage, and that is what it reminds me of. And it does seem very like Middle America. So there's kind of something appealing about that as well. Yeah.
Oh,
This is like an international crowd in her, because the woman who does the anthologies and magazines, Canadian. There are people from all over the world, which I love because
definitely
it gives you. So of course I choose somebody from Cincinnati.
Oh well, I mean,
that's my guy.
What you like.
Yeah. Who do you have? For us?
I picked out, and so I'm a flipper. So I've been reading this book, but been flipping around whatever catches my eye, and I landed on. It's not going to be a surprise. This person named Maria Smith Bohannon, Bohannon, Bohannon. And it's these very,
very graphic,
very abstract, flat collages. And she talks about moving towards abstraction in her work and how collage has sort of allowed her to become very abstract with her work and learning about space. And obviously there's a lot of kind of interesting value structure there. I love a black. And I love color and I love graphic shapes. And I think it's and she also, she does printmaking and things.
Yeah, you can tell.
Surprise.
Yeah, it looks very printmaker-ish. Is that a word? Printmaker-ish.
Printmaker-ish.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I just loved, somebody who also recycles their old art into new things. So I just really liked,
I love her color. And
the
the
color.
Black and white.
Yeah. The color, the palette really spoke to me. So that's why I picked this person. Collage can be a meditative and calming process, an absolute boon for mental health. And I feel the same way.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Somehow it takes the pressure off when you're collaging because you're not looking at like a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, that's true. You're starting with materials.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd talk a little bit today about just kind of like an update of where we are with collage, because we're both using it very heavily in our work right now, but very different ways. Just like a lot of these people, we're all doing collage. We're all doing it in really, really different ways. So Liz is going to talk a little bit about her recent collage, and then I'll kind of update you on my collage.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of show some of our work and kind of talk about where we get the stuff that materials too, a
little bit of technique maybe. I can show you how I make a few things. You can show us how you use a few things too. So
all right,
so we'll be back.
We'll be back with one of us. Okay.
Live.
Okay, we're live.
Yes.
All right. So actually, I'm going to start.
Yeah, so Liz has a pile.
You have a pile. Hayley suggested I go in like chronological order of stuff that I have. So
being bossy.
This is actually kind of fun. This is was actually when we had Meraki. It was a class we did at Meraki, and we had somebody come in, and you kind of make this like junk journal thing, and you go through and you make the pages.
Oh, that's very cool.
But then what I really like is then you can go back in. And I sort of react to maybe what's in here.
Right.
And just add different things and kind of play around. And I almost use it like a prompt book.
Yes.
So, so that's kind of fun. That's like a way of doing collage.
Yeah, making books and putting together. So where was all this source material from?
She brought stuff in. We could have different things pages. And she had things and okay. And then this is actually just my old card. Yeah. But I wanted to just show a lot of the mending I do is almost like a collage type work where I will take, an article of clothing or something that has a hole and layer fabric and layer stitches. And a lot of people like to cut away elements like the frayed edge. I like to integrate that in. So that's just an example of a really simple,
Yeah.
maybe before I realized I was doing collage with textiles,
Mhm.
I was doing this, but I didn't call it collage
Yep.
at that point.
Well, it's important to, sorry, I don't know how much of a dialogue you want
let's
this
have
to
dialogue.
be.
Dialogue, please.
Well, I was just going to say that an important part about collage, like everybody thinks like layering on, layering on, layering on. It was sort of a profound experience for me when I realized I could take away as well.
Yes.
Reduction
That's
and
true.
use holes and negative space. And that's what you kind of were doing there with your
that's
jeans.
true.
Yeah.
This is something where I brought this because 2 reasons. I did this Hayley gave a class on abstraction and we made these collages, but this is something I will probably ultimately cut up and use in another collage so that, or maybe do a series of collages with these integrated into them. I'd kind of like to do some fabric and some stitching with these as well and just start to, I want to bring a little more paper and stitching together. That is kind of a goal. So there's that. This is, I actually thought this was my book I had at home, which is much fuller, but this is just kind of like, not really a collage, but again, a starting point where this is something where I'll paint the background and then I might come in with markers and then, Hayley got me into the tissue paper when it comes to kind of mute all this down. And then again, maybe pull this out and either cut this up or maybe add some stitched elements or fabrics. Then you can also have something that's just really simple and really quiet and not very many elements. So you can, collage doesn't have to be crazy busy. This was actually the back of a list of last winter's television shows that we were watching that we had to keep track of, and I spelled tea on it and it dried out, and so I put it in my pile of papers to be cut up.
Well, and that we've talked about collage too, and I keep interrupting sort of your showing of the work, but because we approach collage in a different way, like you use a lot of and so do a lot of collage artists use a lot of text. And sort of like, found text.
That's funny, I do, yeah.
Yep, found text that they change the meaning of, like when you juxtapose text that was in one context and put it in a new context, is a really that's kind of like what people were doing back when collage started as a medium. It's always been there, sort of using text and what have you. And I think you do that. I do not at all. I approach it completely differently.
Yeah. Yours are much more abstract.
Yes.
And I really I love to write, I love to read, and I respond to text. Yeah. It doesn't even have to make a word. Just something about the type. I love typography. Yeah. The relationships of the shape of letters with other things.
Yeah, for sure.
This one doesn't have any. I'm like, this one doesn't have any words. This one you may have seen before. This was, is this one of the ones where you passed back and forth in the beginning, Hayley?
I think we did. I think you know what it was? I did the hooking and you did everything else.
Yes, you did the hooking and then I responded to the hooking. And so this was sort of collage, but not collage. In the end, it kind of became more of a collage. There's some fabric in here that I had dyed. It's stitching, it's rug hooking. It has more of a collage look.
Definitely.
Yeah. I guess it is a collage. I don't really always think of it that way, this kind of stuff, but yeah. So
what would you consider it if not a collage?
I don't know. Curious. I guess it is a collage.
Like a, kind of like a quilt or something. I mean,
I don't know. It's not. Maybe it is like more of an assemblage. It's not really an assemblage. It's a collage. Yeah. I was just curious. Like I said, I really kind of didn't have a label for it. Then this, I did think when I did this one of collage, because this is why I used to think collage had to have found elements, like this was a boat from another piece of fabric. This was a face from another piece of fabric, playing off this design that already existed in a piece of fabric. So I think I was held back a little bit by sort of thinking I needed to use other people's preconceived things.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but now I've definitely moved on from that. But I always love her hair. I like this.
Yes.
I like that for the stitching.
And if you look in the glue book, you'll see that people do both that. They do abstract things and abstract images, or they just use them to make something new.
And this is maybe a little more, here, I'll hold it up.
Okay.
A little more what I'm starting to do now. This is an abstract
garment
collage. I'll turn it around. And you can see here I've used, that's part of a quilt. And this was kind of a scrap from a quilt. Same thing here. So taking things I've used in other projects and integrating them into a new project. And I thought this was done, but I've decided it's not. I really want to add a lot more, I think, to the back. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe it's done, maybe it's not.
You'll see.
But that's the beauty of collage, really.
Yeah.
I feel like you can, come back and keep revisiting. Okay. This is my biggest collage to this point this was a quilt that I had made this quilt top years ago. I think. Is this how it goes? Yeah. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I made the quilt top years ago. And then there were several quilt artists who I'd seen who put clothes on a quilt top, kind of flattened them out. And I found that to be intriguing. This is actually when we started Meraki Studio. This was an outfit I think I wore like every other day for probably 3 years, as you can tell by the holes. But what I'm starting to do is add some more elements into this. I have this lobster claw. I'm going to add tell a little story in here. There'll be some more things happening on this quilt so that it becomes the quilt, then the clothes, then the story with the collage happening and stitching. So I'm having fun with this one. I only work on this one when I'm at the studio. So it's taking me a little longer. And then this is kind of just a final, again, you've maybe seen this one before. This one I'm going to add more elements to, but clothing and everything is, reused. This is actually from the same shirt that is on the other quilt. It's the back of the shirt. This is all fabric I had. This is fabric I dyed. These I stitched. There was, it's
no
not even fabric,
yeah.
no fabric. So yeah. But yeah, I have other elements I'm going to add to this that I think are going to bring a little more of a collage aspect to it. So we'll revisit that as we maybe talk about collage again as things sort of progress.
Yeah.
I know we're constantly doing collage. So
anyway. And then you have the shirt you're wearing.
Oh, that's true. That is, now that I think about it. So this is by, this is a vendor. She actually has a store down on Hope Street in Providence.
Yep.
Called The Pool.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And her name's Christy, but you can see on the back she's done.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. And yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about it. It's like you're drawing.
You have a collage shirt.
Yes, I have a collage shirt.
Yeah. So what do you think the layering, means to you?
I think I love a story. I love depth of story. I love kind of a point of view and trying to get an idea across. Even if the idea I'm trying to get across to you isn't the idea that you take away, I just want to sort of give something that's like this. I realize why I've been fighting against this is it's too literal. It's very literal. We kind of had a critique a while back with some people, and I was kind of like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite. And I was trying to be really commercial and do something, make a kit, whatever. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I can always do this as a kit and then add to this original piece and take it further. And I think that's what it is seeing something, looking around. I love looking to see what I have and kind of challenging myself to use what is either in progress or I have or I've created previously. I'm not going to go out and buy something to put on a collage. I don't think ever. Yeah, I hope I answered the question.
Yeah. Did you find a good way to tell a story?
Yeah.
Express yourself?
Yeah. So
illustrate.
That's kind of my little
good
world.
way to use up stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like use up as much as I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my little world of collage.
Oh, I
think
love
we should
it.
Come visit your world. Of
All
collage,
right.
'cause
Well,
it's spectacular.
we'll see you on the other side.
Okay.
Thanks,
So,
Liz.
as you know, I'm a collage maniac. I've been working in collage for over 20 years. It's always been a really expressive medium for me, but I want to talk about how my work has changed since incorporating fiber, because for a long time I was just collaging paint and drawing and paper. So, since adding fiber, firstly, I should say that I was influenced or inspired to add fiber into my collage type work because I have such an abundance of it, being a rug hooking artist and having a rug hooking studio. I have abandoned works in progress when it comes to rug hooking, and I have an awful lot of scrap fabric in my studio. Most of it is in the form of the ends of the wool that I use when I'm making rug hooking kits or, chopping up fabric or whatever. So I have a tremendous amount of the selvage that just seems like it's so beautiful to work with. I mean, I just love wool in general, that, I want to keep it and use it in something. So for the past 2 or 3 years, I've just been finding ways to use this in my own art, in different kinds of crafts and what have you. And that's where all of these little quillies, these are glued together because I put them on a different project and then ripped them off. That's when I started doing things like these quillies and making things like braiding it up and making braids like this. The most recent obsession is now making these nets out of it, which is basically, it's kind of like an apple pie crust, just kind of like a lattice.
Like lattice,
Like a lattice crust that I've just been gluing them together on the edges. And I love this kind of like semi-transparency to it, which is another thing about collage that we didn't really talk about when we're talking about like layers, putting things over other things. Like transparencies or semi-transparencies can really add a lot to your work. It's an aspect that I really like, whether it's like a piece of transparent paper going over something, or in this case, fabric. Like, how do you make wool transparent? Well, this is like one way that kind of does that. You can kind of get a little glimpse of things underneath. So this has really added a lot to my work. As you can see, it's very different. It's not very flat anymore. It's not all paper. And it's a lot more, like colorful, I think too, because I'm working with found colors and I'm putting them together and not being afraid of the color when I make something that's real small like this. Then I'm putting all those colors together, and it's like a color and explosion. So I think the materials themselves, just the art of putting them all together in collage has really, like I said, just changed my work and made it a lot different than how controlled it used to be. And I know we're not looking at my old work, but it used to be controlled, I think. It also used to be square and rectangular. And now working with fabric, I've been able to change the shape of it as well and the size of it, because I'm working with like large pieces of found like sweaters and things like that. So what else do I have to say about collage? I still do use a lot of papers. This is a paper I've literally had. It's just a cheap piece of paper with some printmaking on it. I've had this since undergrad. So 2003 or so. I mean, I've had this piece of paper for a really, really long time. A lot of these are actually really, really old. So I go through and it's like I remember getting this in like my freshman year of college. Is that crazy? 2003, maybe. These are just little bits. So what happens is, oftentimes, especially when I was working a lot with paper, I'd start with a large paper. Maybe I would do printmaking on it. Maybe I would paint on it to make collage materials. And then they go, for me at least, I start with a big, roll of it. Then it goes down to, a box, of pieces that are maybe like 8 by 10 inches or something. Then they get into boxes that are smaller and smaller as they get smaller and smaller. So these little bits, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever use them, but they're there for me. So that's how I kind of organize my supplies. Start with a big roll, then they move down in box size, and we'll see. And it's just like going through your artistic past. So like in this collage here, I actually have drawings that I made probably in 2009 or so that I found that I just, I decided that this is where they belong. So it's kind of like, to me, collage sort of affirms that no matter what I'm making, no matter what my hands are spending time doing, they'll find their place. The thing will find its importance somewhere.
I like
this
that.
is not really a great drawing on its own, but I can find a use for that. I can spend time quilling pieces of wool, which is a very passive activity, but I know that they'll find their place at some point. And so nothing's, a waste. Just because don't feel like I'm making masterpieces all the time, it doesn't matter because they'll come together in some place, find where they belong.
Do you feel that having all of that history and objects at your disposal allows you in the moment to be more creative? And
yes, having like I feel like I'm surrounded by like treasure and possibility. That sounds really like corny, but
not at all
true. Like I feel like having like all these different things and all these different textures, it doesn't overwhelm me. It like inspires me. I don't know if that would be true for everyone, but I'm like, every hand I put myself in, I'm like, ooh, where can I use this? There's also the challenge of using something really weird, and I like the challenge of collage. Like making this isn't challenging, but finding a place for this, it's a target. It's very challenging. It's, and I like kind of that, different processes that you can do within your work. So that's a little bit about collage. I think that you guys have probably seen all these online, but if you want to...
Do you want to talk about your progression? Just a little bit about like how you started these flat and you progressed kind of to more three-dimensional?
I think that has a lot to do with using the wool and using... rug hooking in general, because it's so object-like, it's so plush that, and I think it also has to do with making work that's not rectangular anymore and feeling, inspired to start playing with shape. And when you start playing with shape, you start playing with volume, I think. And I know like this is in a rectangle right now or a square,
but it will be liberated
I'd like
and
to
become that way.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
So, and I also think like some of the themes that I think about in my work now, I think that the theme comes through the process and the work and the materials for me, and then vice versa. So my work has become a bit about like, I said volume. It's become a bit about gravity because that's what I'm fighting with kind of with the wall. I'm using gravity, like especially in the pieces that have like nets and flowing things. Like the work is about kind of like heft and how it lays and draping. And again, it's sort of some things that are in my mind, but it's also part of like why I'm using these materials, but also what the materials are giving me as concept. So,
right.
So anyway, this is where I'm at with collage. This is one that I just started. I'm sorry, it's probably hard to see. A smaller one, but you can kind of see something that's just does not have a lot of layering on it yet. And something that's a little bit smaller, so it might be like easy to see like all the individual parts. Because it doesn't have the same kind of chaos as the ones that I feel like are more finished. Or I guess I should say the layering or
I like chaos.
Yeah. I like chaos too.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, so collage. Collage is, again, just to tout collage, Liz and I approach it very differently. I think, in her work, it's expressing like a narrative, an illustrative, a humor, a You know what I mean? And mine is much more abstract. It's about the feeling of color and texture and kind of like this
shape.
Shape and all the more formal stuff. So you can, there's so many ways to use it, but I think it frees you from, feeling like you have to draw something perfectly. It frees you from
which we all know I love.
Frees you from realism, feeling like you have to stick to realism. It frees you, it opens you up to possibilities of materials, something you do with your hands. It's very tactile. So if you're a fiber person, you're only like one step away from collaging. So I would say give it a try. Reach out to us and let us know if you want more info on collage, if you collage, and your general feelings about it.
Yeah.
So keep in touch. Send us a comment, and we'll be back with another video.
Right. Bye, guys.
Bye.